though, came into play seemingly for Michigan, and it caught up to them. They had just 39.3% shooting against the Ducks and didn't seem to have a physical or special thing that they needed to get it done last night, man. The Ducks set the school record with their 32nd win and are off to the Elite Eight for the second straight year, thanks to a big-time performance from Dorsey Ball Award to the Oregon Ducks. Michigan's season is over, and Oregon next has to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Speaking of the Kansas Jayhawks, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, Kansas Jayhawks put them hands on Purdue last night. Yeah, Kansas put them things on Purdue last night, man. It took about 10 minutes for Kansas guards Frank Mason III and Devontae Graham to slow down and gain their composure, man, and get everything under control in the Midwest Regional. But then it happened. Mason and Graham finished pouring in 26 points apiece. Number one seed Kansas has coasted, dominating Purdue 98-66 in the victory last night. In a spot in the Elite Eight, the Jayhawks will play number 3 seed Oregon. Once again, we just talked about them, which survived a nail-biter last night on Saturday night for a spot in their first Final Four since 2012. Josh Jackson added 15 points and 12 boards, and Landon Lucas did a good job of keeping Purdue forwards Caleb Swanigan and Isaac Haas in check as the Jayhawks 31-4 turned a 7-point halftime lead into their third consecutive blowout in the NCAA tournament. Kansas is the first team since UConn back in 1995. In 1995, that gotta be the Rip Hamilton UConn Huskies. In 1995 to score at least 90 points each of its first 3 games. Yes. The Jayhawks were 15-28 from beyond the arc, setting a school record for makes in the NCAA tournament game. Purdue is a third against the Jayhawks in the NCAA tournament. Kansas had lost his last 3 games against teams seeded 4th or better. The Jayhawks play the Ducks on Saturday for a spot in Glendale, Arizona. And I'm telling you, this Graham kid, man, these young kids for Kansas, for the Jayhawks, Mason and Graham, talent-wise, they might have the best talent remaining. If you're talking about both those players together in the tournament, they might be the most talented. The only thing that I would kind of hesitate about Kansas is the fact that they're so young. These boys can ball. These boys can ball with their big-ass Duke starting 5 haircuts. They can definitely ball. But they're young. They're young, and so with a more veteran-laden team, chances are that they'll have a bad night, a bad shooting night, a bad night in general because they're young players. But talent-wise, man, Kansas, they're a solid team. And so we'll see what they do in the next round of the NCAA tournament. You can call the show at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read some of your messages in the chat room on Spreaker.com. Clay, these last $2 Davis. He says Kansas will choke like they always do come tournament time. I was just talking about the Musketeers, Xavier and Gonzaga, and kind of like their reputations in the tournament. Same thing for Kansas. Like, Kansas probably is a team, yearly, historically, at least over the last, 20, 25 years, ever since Danny Manning. It always gets the top recruits, man, but they don't have a lot of hardware to show for it, at least once again in the last, 25 years. They do have the one championship when they beat Memphis in the national championship game probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. But outside of that, man, a lot of times they're just a disappointment in the tournament, and they get put out by a team that they probably have better, more superior talent to. From Clay, these last $2 Davis Gilliard, them Kyle looks for the West Virginia players messed up his thought process. Jan from Snellville, Gilliard, we wouldn't been in it without him though. From LD from that D, he says Purdue kept turning the ball over, kept giving the ball back to Kansas over and over and over and over again. Right. Same thing happened at the end of that West Virginia game as well. West Virginia, they couldn't make the shots to stay in that game and get ahead at the very end. From Clay, these last $2 Davis in the chat room on Spreaker.com, LeVar is trying too much, wanting to be the coach from the stands. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw the video of Stephen A. Smith and LeVar Ball arguing back and forth. I guess they were on First Take. I only saw like a glimpse of it somewhere. And once again, LeVar Ball is really, really, off the chain. There's no better way to say it. There's no better way to say it. He's off the chain. And something you got to remember about this, though. This is just a kid's daddy. And a kid whose daddy is promoting the hell out of him. He's being given the platform. He has already been on Colin Cowherd's show on Fox. Now he's on First Take on ESPN. At the end of the day, I think this guy's winning. I think he's winning. I think he's winning at the end of the day, man. They're bringing attention. Any press is good press, a lot of people say. I talked about that earlier this week. And it's bringing a lot of attention to the Ball name. This is branding, okay? The Ball name is big right now. And his son, as a matter of fact, is balling right now in college basketball. Got a real shot to play in the national championship game. So I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like he's going way across the line over the last couple of days, though. But, hey, it's worked so far for him and his boys, that family in general, basketball-related, man. I mean, it's very crazy to watch him and Stephen A. Smith screaming at each other. It's very crazy. But I think LeVar Ball is winning. From Clay, these last $2 Davis, he says Arizona should have won that game last night. They didn't use the big men enough down the stretch. Let's see. From Bootsy, Xavier ruined my bracket, had Arizona winning it all. Yeah, that's a wrap for you. From Sandman, he says, I just got done watching the two chicks fighting in the Waffle House over some dishes. Hilarious, laughing my ass off. Shoot me that video, bro. Shoot me the video. I need to see that. I need to see two chicks fighting in Waffle House. From ducking and dodging, that's because people really hate NBA players. The resentment towards them is strong. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Back to the post that Big Apple Bastard posted yesterday in the chat room that I read later on last night. Let's see. From Sidney Jackson, Doug must have shook the hell out of Alexa, gave her some act right. No, I don't shake women. For Clay, these last $2 Davis, who's posting a lot today in the chat room on Spreaker.com, he says, I think Tommy Amaker could be a great hire for Georgetown. I don't see the hype for Shaka Smart. We're going to talk about that, as a matter of fact, when we get back from the break. I tell you what, before we get to that, we do need to kind of like preview tonight's games in college basketball. We'll do that, and maybe we will touch upon that story at Georgetown. From Gilliard Road's Finest, Texas Tide, how's your bracket doing since Duke lost? Not good. Gilliard Road's Finest, South Carolina Gamecocks is upsetting Baylor tonight. We'll talk about that, man. I always say it, man. I root for all South Carolina teams. I do. And I think they got a shot, man. I mean, they played good. I've watched them play a couple of times this year, obviously. And Frank Martin has brought in a bunch of great players from all over the country and kind of like gave that program a facelift. And it seems like, based on what I'm reading out there, is that Baylor. There's a headline that Baylor's happy that they don't have to take on Duke in this particular round, who South Carolina beat. I don't know. You be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. But I'm definitely rooting for the Gamecocks tonight. From White Ball, Texas Tide. She's killing it, but Ish gives me a headache. Not my style. I don't know what he's talking about. From White Ball, Texas Tide again. Duke's going as good as they've always have been. win by winning the ACC, beat UNC twice, too. And the last one before we jump to a break here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. From Jay Clyde, my bracket is still looking good with my UCLA championship pick. I like UCLA, man. I love the ball kid, obviously, man, but I think that there's some teams that are tougher than them. North Carolina's a tougher team. I think Kansas is a tougher team. You have the same conversation that I just had about Kansas with young players, being dependent on young players, obviously, with the freshman Lonzo Ball. So it's going to be interesting. I like my chances right now. I like North Carolina, even though they didn't play great in the last round against, who was it, Arkansas. They got a presence down in the middle. And they got the Jackson kid. Meeks down in the middle, veteran player as far as college basketball is concerned, big man down in the paint. Roy Williams, obviously a great coach, has won championships. I like my pick in North Carolina winning it all, especially at this point with Duke and Arizona out. Yeah, I like my picks. All right, when we get back from the break. Yeah. When we get back from the break, we'll kind of preview tonight's game in the NCAA tournament. Friday night. I'm so happy, man. It's been a long week. And tonight is my cheat night for my food. Right. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to get a Big Mac and fries or I'm going to get me 25 lemon pepper chicken wings. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the two. A Big Mac combo or a ton of lemon pepper chicken wings. My cheat day today. I can't wait, man. I've been waiting all week for today. Back in 3 minutes, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, sir.
And yes, there was a young suitor from out of the bunch. She's gonna eat him for lunch. You know she's got an eye. Didn't mean to excuse her from having a fun, but he just noticed the one chick that's looking fly. Silence rolled by, voices in my head. It's starting to look like a typical case of some lame lines. He leaned in slightly, she's declining, turned off by the bullshit that he did. And now he's wasting all her night and mine at the same time. He's always wasting our time. He's always wasting all our time, all my time. Let's get crazy. It maybe sounds crazy, I know you had a hard night in the spotlight, but I got a place we can go. Let's get crazy. It probably sounds crazy to you. I know you had a fine night in the limelight. Let me add a memory or two. She looks past him and she sees me watching. Honestly, that's all I need. Instinct takes over and now I'm walking, hoping the words will come to me. It maybe sounds crazy, I know you had a hard night in the spotlight, but I got a place we can go. It probably sounds crazy to you. I know you had a fine night in the limelight. Let me add a memory or two. I know we're strangers